Hi, everybody. I hope you can see me, and we should be live now. I think I have finally figured out my software issues, and so I'm really hoping that this works and that everybody's really super happy with what they finally can see, rather than me cheesily holding up pictures to the screen. You will actually get to see my pictures full screen as I talk about them. So I hope you'll enjoy that. Um, Today we're continuing our series, Holy Moments in Holy Places, and we're talking about a place called the York Minster. And it is in York, England, yes. A lot has happened in the city of York. I don't know if any of you have ever been there before, but oh my goodness, it is so incredible. It is huge, so much history, layer upon layer upon layer. I'm going to show you a picture of the York Minster. Here it is. And it is as intimidating and as grand as it seems. It is ginormous. The thing is huge. You can see next to the buildings, it just dwarfs the other buildings, and these are large buildings as well. The York Minster is a place that is, I had a holy moment during my trip there with my family in 2017. We were there. It's the same trip that we went to Wales for our anniversary, for our 25th anniversary. And this was one of the legs of the journey. In fact, we were there on our way up to Edinburgh, Scotland, where we took the other picture. And York is famous for quite a few things. The Norse invasion, for one thing. They had a huge Anglo-Saxon presence there. They had Norman invasion, and then they had what's called I got to make sure I get this right, so I'm going to look at my notes here. The Harrying of the North, which is where William the Conqueror's troops came in and they literally sacked the entire town. They burnt it to the ground to subjugate all of the people of York back into the English fold. They were kind of one of the holdouts in England, as far as they had their own settlement, they had their own rulers, they had, their own stuff going on. But that happened in that happened from 1069 to 1070. Okay. And the first stone church in York was built in 633. So they're pretty sure that there were grass huts and things long before that, in early Christian times in England. So it's pretty interesting, and you can just feel a sense that if you were to dig a spade full of dirt out of the ground, you'd come up with all kinds of artifacts out of there. It's a pretty intense place to visit, as you can kind of see from the town. I'll put that picture back up again. So as you can see, the York Minster is a huge, 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 huge infinity building. They started building that first Anglo-Saxon church. Well, let's just say this. So the first Norman church was starting to be built around 1080. Okay, and that was it was smallish, and I was actually in part of the Norman church that is underneath the Minster that you can still visit. Around 1154, they started to really expand it, and they built on it for over 250 years. And you can kind of notice that it looks like it's sort of been added on too. So it's pretty interesting place to visit. It has more medieval stained glass than any other place in England. And that is really saying something, because there are a lot of really cool old churches in England, medieval churches, many of them. And during World War I and World War II, they were so concerned about the stained glass being, blown up, or, because there were a lot of bombings, that they took the windows out and they boarded up the church in some cases. Some cases they just put regular glass in and hid those medieval windows away, which I just think is such a loving thing to do for such a piece of their history. So there's a famous saint in York called St. William of York. And St. William was known for, I want to make sure I get this right, he was a monk. He had, his life was eventful because he became an archbishop, okay? And he was, that was in the 12th century, so the 1100s. But they're not exactly sure why, but the Pope and the Cistercian order just kind of really didn't want him to be an archbishop, okay? But there you go. So he was elected in as an archbishop, okay? And then he came back to York, and the people were so happy because he had been from York. People were so happy that they got onto this bridge called, I think it's called the Ouse Bridge, and the bridge collapsed because there were so many people on it. But the reason why William is a saint is because William allegedly prayed that no one would get hurt, and no one was hurt. But this was a very serious accident. So it was amazing. It was a miracle. Everybody knew it. And so he later became canonized as a saint. And he died only a few months later, or a year later. But interestingly, many more miracles after his death happened when people would pray to him. Okay? So that's a little bit interesting. There are thousands of years of history. There's a place called the Undercroft that sits below. I'm going to show you a few pictures here. Let me get all my devices in order here. Technology is so amazing to me. Okay, so here is a picture of the outside of the cathedral, okay? And then this is a picture was taken in the Undercroft area. And this is actually the tomb of St. William. So St. William, you can, put a coin in the thing and light a candle, which I did, which I'll get back to here in a minute. This is a medieval sculpture about the gate. It's like something to do with the gates of hell. And you can see kind of all of the demonic characters. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. This is one small, you can see the tower coming up behind there. This is one very small portion of the York Minster. And you can see how highly decorated it is and how carefully preserved and clean it is. I don't know if you can, well, I'll show you another picture of that in a minute, but I don't know if you can see, but there are so many little teeny tiny details everywhere. This is an altar that is down in the basement area, in the Undercroft of York Minster, and you can see the medieval sculptures around it. So it's, this is really old stuff. And sometimes the candles are lit. They do prayer services down here, I understand. And then this wall is from the original Norman church. And I just sat there. You can sit on it. You can sit on it. And I sat there and I prayed and I just tried to drink in the vibes of the place because it was so old. Everywhere you looked, there was medieval stuff. Okay, This is spectacular. This is a view from the top of the one of the towers in the Minster. And you can see all out into the town. There's this little hole so you can take a picture without um, getting because it's all fenced in. This is another picture of the Minster from another direction. Um, a lot of, I don't have an overhead picture, but I'm pretty sure that there's some sort of cruciform shape in here somewhere. Um, but here's what another thing. So a lot of people get really upset that they have to pay for entering a church, right? But this is the kind of work that they have to do. This is a medieval church. They have to do a lot of work to keep it up, and the stone gets so fragile over time. They have to re, you know, engineer it so to make sure that it holds up over time. It's so much work that goes into it. I think that's it. Yes. So I'm going to go back to, you guys get to, you're so lucky you get to see my face here. Ugh. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? There we go. Sorry, for a second there, my mouse was not wanting to function. That was difficult, especially when you're on live, on live. But I want to talk a little bit about my holy moment in this place. It is such a large and intimidating looking building, right? It's not the place, that you go in on a Sunday and you know, greet your pastor and, you feel comfortable singing a song. It's very intimidating and it's very big. And you feel like you're just a small little person in this ginormous cathedral. Not to mention the fact the whole thing's made out of stone. There's not a lot of warmth to stone. But let me tell you, when I was down in those undercrofts, experiencing, and there's a spot where you can look down. They have dug down, and there's a Roman column down there, and people throw coins into it for good luck, which is really strange in a church, right? So, there's Roman archaeology, there's part of the Norman church, there's a saint's body, there are numerous bishops and archbishops buried up above in the crypts, up on the church, the cathedral level, and then the towers that overlook the whole town. This place is, if God isn't there, where is God? Because this is a pretty fantastic place. Okay, it's just oozing with God's presence. So there are thousands of years of history, literally, and in just in this one little place. And my holy moment came when I was down in the Undercroft praying at St. William's tomb. I was praying specifically for some people. I won't go into detail who it was, but I was praying for some people that I know. And I just sort of felt this overwhelming sense of how grateful I was for my life. And I was grateful for my life because this place had seen thousands of years of history, good and bad, wonderful miracles, but also horrible tragedies. And when we're talking about that this place, in one form or another, existed since 633, that's not very long in the scheme of things after Jesus' time. I mean, yeah, 600 years. That's a while, okay? But I'm just saying it's closer to Jesus' time than I would ever get in my lifetime. And it made me think, my life is so short. My life is so small. And it made me feel that there was a steady force there. that God was in that place, but also this feeling of constancy, of steadiness, of steadfast love, just rock solid. I really felt it there because that has been a holy place for so long, right? So it made me think of the, sometimes crypts creep people out, right? Not me. I'm completely the opposite because I think they bring me closer to God. Those people are no more. They lived their life. Their life was over. They were buried. But they knew God and God knew them and God knows me. And that brings us closer together. So God was with them. God was with me. God is with me. And because God is and was and is yet to come. And it just sort of struck me that God is truly everlasting. And that is my holy moment from the York Minster. What a place that is. I can't even begin to tell you that they've had numerous fires. They've had, there's just all kinds of things that have happened there over the years. It has such a tremendous history. It would take me days to go through it all. But I hope that maybe you'll look into it a little bit, find out a little bit more about it. I'll put the picture back up here for a minute and I'm going to read to you. I want to read to you something. God is and was and is yet to come. The Alpha, the Omega, the Almighty, the everlasting, the eternal God. I truly believe this. In my lifetime, I have seen God and felt God in my life so many times. You can imagine if you take the whole world and you put it all together and there's only one God, how does God do that? I just want to know. But I hope you've enjoyed this. This is a very personal one for me. Praying at the tomb of a saint is a very Catholic thing to do, right? But I have to tell you, it is a powerful experience. I hope that some of you will pray and thank God for being eternal, for being everlasting, and for our everlasting life to come after this earthly life through Jesus. So join me. Okay, so thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I hope that you will like the video. I hope that you will like our or follow us on Facebook if you haven't already. And I hope that you will subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really does help us to know who's out there, who's listening. And it helps us to have feedback, to know what you like. And so I'll just leave you with this. So next Tuesday, we'll be visiting more holy moments and holy places. And next time we are going to be in a place called Christ Church College Chapel. Does anybody know who preached there? Well, let me just say this. I get to talk about my favorite preacher of all time. So you may be familiar with me talking about this man a lot. But I'm so excited because I get to share my holy moment that I had there with you. It's my favorite person next to Jesus. Okay, I'm just saying. So be with me on Tuesday at 4:00. So tune in then, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Do you have special plans? I think the weather is supposed to be okay, right? Did I hear that? Hope everybody survived the storm that we had. We were so fortunate. We lost our power at midnight. It came back on at 7 a.m. Doesn't get any better than that. We just slept right through the whole thing. We didn't have any tree damage. It actually removed, I've been praying about this, so prayers do work. It actually removed a widowmaker out of one of our trees that we could not get, and it came down in the storm. So we're very grateful to God for taking care of that for us. We hope y'all survived and are doing well. And I hope that you feel the presence of the eternal Holy One who is here for us always and forever. God bless you, everybody. And I will, well, I said everybody. Everybody, everyone, right? I will see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.